When did a routine training exercise turn into something completely unexpected? We were supposed to be practicing convoy operations in the California desert. Basic stuff. Drive in formation, respond to simulated attacks, practice radio procedures. Standard training exercise that we'd done dozens of times before. 3 hours into the exercise, our squad leader gets a frantic radio call. Real emergency. Civilian aircraft down about 15 miles from our position. Search and rescue teams were still 2 hours out, but we were the closest military unit to the crash site. Change of mission, Sergeant Williams announced. This just became a real rescue operation. Suddenly, our practice convoy turned into an actual emergency response. We had no medical equipment beyond basic first aid kits, no rescue gear, no specialized training for aircraft crashes, just a bunch of infantrymen in Humvees with whatever supplies we'd packed for a training exercise. The crash site was brutal. Small Cessna had clipped a ridge and cartwheeled into a ravine. Pilot unconscious in the cockpit, passenger trapped under twisted metal. Both alive but in bad shape. Private Jackson, our designated medic for training purposes, took one look and froze. I'm not qualified for this. I've got maybe 40 hours of medical training. No choice but to improvise. Used our demo charges to cut through the aircraft frame, fashioned splints from rifle cleaning rods, turned our field radio into a direct line with emergency room doctors who walked us through stabilizing spinal injuries. The pilot had a compound fracture in his leg, bones sticking through skin, bleeding everywhere. Jackson was hyperventilating. I can't do this. I'm going to kill him. That's when our machine gunner, Kyle Martinez, stepped up. Turns out his dad was a paramedic. Kyle had been riding ambulances since he was 16 learning the trade. Never mentioned it because it wasn't relevant to his military job. I got this, Kyle said, taking charge. Started barking medical orders like he'd been doing it for years. Had us rigging IV lines from water tubes, creating stretchers from equipment cases. The passenger was worse. Internal bleeding, probably ruptured spleen. Kyle made the call to medevac her immediately, but our helicopters were committed to another mission. Nearest civilian hospital was 90 minutes by ground. We're driving her ourselves, Kyle decided. Radio ahead, tell them we're coming in hot. Turned our convoy into an emergency ambulance run. Kyle in the back of one Humvee performing battlefield medicine with improvised tools. Rest of us clearing traffic, coordinating with state police, maintaining radio contact with the hospital. Highway patrol cleared the route. Civilians pulled over when they saw our military convoy racing through town. Made it to the hospital in 53 minutes, beating the official ambulance response time. Both victims survived. Pilot needed surgery but recovered fully. Passenger spent 2 weeks in intensive care but pulled through. Doctors said our field treatment saved both their lives. The investigation was interesting. FAA wanted to know how a routine military training exercise turned into the most effective civilian rescue operation they'd seen. Media picked up the story. Suddenly we're heroes instead of just soldiers practicing in the desert. Kyle got offered a job with the county paramedic service when his enlistment ended. Turned out his real calling wasn't military combat but emergency medicine. Started college for his EMT certification while still active duty. The pilot tracked us down 6 months later. Brought his whole family to thank us. His daughter was getting married the next month. I'm walking her down the aisle because you guys refused to let me die in that desert. Command used our rescue as a case study for adaptive leadership. How routine training can prepare you for real-world emergencies you never saw coming. Published it in military leadership journals. But the real lesson was simpler. Everyone has skills and knowledge beyond their official job description. Kyle wasn't trained as a combat medic, but his civilian experience made him the right person for that moment. Now, whenever we do training exercises, someone always jokes about what unexpected mission we might get diverted to. Hope it's not brain surgery this time. The exercise taught us that military readiness isn't just about following doctrine. It's about being flexible enough to handle whatever crisis comes your way, even when it has nothing to do with warfare.